Hey guys. Hey guys. I'm here to do my November wrap up. No, October wrap up. I don't know what month we're in. October. October wrap up. I was originally going to do a separate Hispanic Heritage Month reads wrap up like separately, but I only read two books for Hispanic Heritage Month, and I read basically nothing in the month of October, so I'm just going to do them all together. So I'm going to start with those because one of them I did finish in the month of September. So that book is Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. I don't know how to, whatever. And this is, I believe, translated from Spanish. Um, by Carol Christensen and Thomas Christensen. This was really, I really liked this. This was very sweet and like, I feel like a romance book. It's kind of, I don't really read like books like this typically, but it was quite sweet. We're following um, our main character, whose name I can't think of right now, and she's basically in love with this man, but because she's the youngest daughter, or the oldest daughter, I think the youngest daughter, she's like, her destiny is to stay with her mother and take care of her mother, so she can't get married. So the man decides that he's gonna, and like the mom is like, oh, you can't marry her, but here you can marry my other daughter, and then the guy agrees to do it because he thinks that by agreeing to marry her sister, he'll be able to spend more time with her. But, you know, things don't always work out the way you want them to. Yeah, and she, it's magical realism. Like, she eats or she cooks food. She's really good at cooking, and like all of her emotions go into the food that she's eating. So people that eat her food, start to experience the same emotions that she does, etc., etc. It's really sweet and nice. There is a little bit of a love triangle, and I kind of hate the guy that she's in love with. I think his name is Pedro. Um, I don't know why his name I can remember, probably because like he drove me so crazy. I don't know, he was just like so jealous. Like he chose to marry another woman, and like he got her pregnant and everything, but he's jealous when she's spending time with another man, and it's just like I hate you, okay? Like I don't understand. So that I found extremely frustrating. But besides that, it's a really sweet, well-written book. I just hated that guy so much. Thought he was extremely selfish. Classic. The other book that I read for Hispanic Heritage Month was When I Was Puerto Rican by Esmeralda Santiago. And this book was so good. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I don't remember how many stars I gave this. Probably like 4, like 3.5, 4. This was so good. This is the story of Esmeralda growing up in Puerto Rico and then going to the United States. I found like a lot of things in this book. I mean, it's a memoir. I found a lot of things in this book that I like related to and like really enjoyed. She's got like many siblings. Her dad is like leaving, and so her mom's getting frustrated and taking them like other places. So there's a lot of, she has to move a lot. My favorite parts are where she's learning English or having to they like learn like English by song kind of, and so they have it like phonetically written out what they're saying, and it makes me laugh so hard because my family is Dominican, and it's like very similar situation. I don't know, I guess maybe like other Hispanic cultures speaking English, it would sound the same, but like I could like visualize and hear like my family saying these things, and it made me laugh really hard. And when I told my mom that, and she was like, "Oh yeah," I think she said that's how they learned English too, is like through song and stuff. So um, I don't know. I really 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 liked this book. I thought it was beautiful. Well written. It's like a coming of age story that I'm, again, not something that I typically read, but I really really enjoyed this. All right, so those are the only two books that I finished for Hispanic Heritage Month, sadly, but it's okay. I can read Hispanic books all the time. The first thing I finished this month was Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I don't know when I started this, but I finally finished it. I think, yeah, he's just like super, super smart, and I'm not that smart. So reading it was a little challenging because You know, it's definitely a thinker, and you really have to like be focused and concentrate. I'm sure you know what this is about at this point because this book is pretty old. It was worth the read for sure, but again, it's just like a little bit more dense than I was expecting. So if you're planning on reading it, if you haven't read it already, I suggest you do read it if you haven't read it already, but make sure you're taking your time with it and really like letting everything kind of sink in. I'm gonna probably reread this in like not next year, but maybe the year after that because I don't think that everything stuck inside of my brain. The next thing that I have is The Arab of the Future, Volume 3 by Riyad Sattouf, and this is translated. Jake is so sweet. It's a present from Jake, so he wrote me a little note inside. Just so sweet. This is definitely translated by Sam Taylor, and this is just more of the Arab of the Future. I super recommend this series if you haven't read it. My cat lately she scratches paper, and it's really stressing me out. It's a graphic memoir, and it's, you know, more of his time. I feel like they're still in Syria. And they take a trip to Lebanon at some point. And his dad, you know, his mom is like, I want to leave, and his dad's like, oh, I know like this really important person and like all this stuff, but I don't want to tell you what happens, but it's really good. If you like graphic memoirs, please read it. It's just like an insight into someone else's culture, and it's like really, really interesting, and it's just, yeah, it's a good time. All right, and then I finally finished Dubliners by James Joyce. I only had The Dead to read. I think I started this last year at some point. I'm trying to, you know, work through the books that I've started. This was fine. I thought it was good for the most part. This is another one of those books that I think you have to concentrate a little bit harder than I was maybe concentrating on it. So some of the stories I did find quite enjoyable, but some of them I found kind of dull. I think I gave this 3 stars total. The Dead is, you know, apparently like his most important story. I don't know, but I kind of already forgot what happened, so love it when that happens. Just kidding, obviously. Yeah, it was fine. I don't know. 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars. And the last thing that I read was this little piece of shit, excuse my language, and that's As Kingfishers Catch Fire by Jared Manley Hopkins. I got it in my head that I was like, oh, I'm going to read every single one of these, and I read, you know, they're numbered, so this is number 2, and I just did not like this at all. I gave this 1 star. I never give things 1 star because I DNF them if I don't like them, but it's so tiny and it's poetry, so I think that's the problem, is that it's old, it's poetry, and it's about nature. Laverne is losing her mind right now. I just could not be bothered about this. I would 100% not recommend anyone reading any of this person's works. Laverne! I don't know what is her deal right now. If you have read this person and enjoy it, can you explain to me how and why? Because I don't understand. So those are all the things that I read for Hispanic Heritage Month and then for the rest of the month of October. If you've read any of these and want to talk to me about them, let me know. Oh, I did also want to do like a little like film update and podcast update, but I forgot to write down a list of the things that I experienced, just because I you know, I already talk about all these books in my weekly updates, so I thought I would, you know, mix it up a little bit. I did want to say that I did not watch 31 movies. My goal was to watch 31 movies. I definitely watched a lot more than I usually do, maybe like close to 10. I watched the new Halloween, which was super good. I cannot think of her name, but Kitty from Arrested Development, she's in it and she is just stellar. She's so good. It was really, really good. I watched The Fog by John Carpenter too, which I had never seen before. And I did like an all-night movie marathon thing at the Hollywood Theater, and my standout movie from that I really, really enjoyed was Tourist Trap. It was so wild. Basically, a group of teens, it's, you know, from the 70s, a group of teens they're going on a trip and they get into a tourist trap, basically. Like the car stops working and then, you know, one by one they get picked off, I guess. This guy is helping them, and other stuff is happening that's very strange. I really like it. So I will link trailers to that. Also, I watched Oculus, which was on Netflix and now has been taken off of Netflix. That movie scared the crap out of me. I have not been that scared in so long. Like, I legitimately had to look away from the screen and I told Jake, can you please tell me exactly what's happening right now? Because I just couldn't, I couldn't watch it. It was too, I realized that I can't watch scary movies anymore like I thought I could. That was absolutely terrifying. It's, a brother, sister, mother, father. It's dual timelines, and basically the little boy killed his dad because the dad killed the mom, and so the siblings think that it's because the mirror is possessed. There's a mirror in the dad's study, and so he's finally let out, and the sister's like, "We need to, murder this mirror," basically. And so the two of them are stuck in a room just with the mirror, and things get so weird. I just gave myself goosebumps thinking about it. So blah. Yeah, so I watched those, and those were all really good. And I can't think of any new podcasts other than I was just listening to Sold in America, which is about like sex trafficking and sex slavery. I think just in the United States. I'm pretty sure it's sold in America specifically. I should be better than this. Not looking it up right now. Yeah, sold in America. So that one is really, really interesting. And I guess I'm going to stop now. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.